I just wanted to welcome our Attorney General, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. Let's give him a round of applause for coming. And I'll do a full, complete introduction later. But first, we wanted to start it off with, like we do with all of our events, in the right way to get us started with good, positive energy. We have one of our students, Opie, who is here somewhere, right? Come on over, Opie. And he's with Chucky there. And they're going to start us off with an honor song for our Attorney General and get us started off in the right way. So if you guys want to come on up here, give it this little boy there. So I'll turn it over to Opie. And Opie is one of our students too.
Bonjour, and hand away money do. Bajiana Quad Indigenous Cause, Opie David Du, Minawa, and Digo. Good afternoon, friends and relatives. I'd like to first say miigwech for asking me and my boy here to come and share with you a song on this beautiful day. And when we were trying, I was going over in my head what to sing. Sometimes the youngest ones, the littlest ones are teachers. And he had reminded me of something that we didn't do yet today. Every morning we get up and we smudge, we say thank you for another day, and we sing a particular set of songs. And this morning we didn't sing the morning song yet. He said, Dad, we didn't sing the morning song. And I thought, well, what a better time to sing it than with all my friends, relatives, fellow students here at the school. In this song, what it translates to say, it says, wake up. It says, the sun is up, the birds are singing, and it is a beautiful day. Well, the sun's kind of out. I heard some birds this morning, and it is a beautiful day. Any day is a beautiful day whenever we're allowed to get together and be around one another. So that's the song we're going to share with you guys today. I want to say about this much, and I want to say thank you to the Attorney General for being here with us, gracing us with your presence here at our awesome school. And, do enough talking. I think we'll do some singing. Hey, Thank you.
All right, big wins to Opie and Chucky. That was incredible. Yeah, big wins. So that's how we like to start off all of our meetings. And next, I would like to turn it over to our student government president, RJ, who has something for the Attorney General.
Thank you, Butch. Bonjour, Ricardo Mayangan and Jukas, Magazine My name is Ricardo Mayangan. I'm part of the Magazine clan and from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And as a student senate president, and on behalf of all students and staff here at Red Lake Nation College, we'd like to give you this gift of appreciation for everything you've done and all your continuous support for our college.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll post it. All right, big wins, RJ. Well, just to let the Attorney General know who we have in the room is we have all of our staff and faculty. You met Nadine Bill, our Executive Director. We have a lot of our staff, faculty, students who are here, and some community members who also wanted to come and say hello to you today. So we appreciate you coming. Bonjour, everyone. Megazins, Nindashinikas, Jangweshe, Nindude, Matabimu, Nindujibo. And for our guests, what I said right there was our traditional Ojibwe introduction, where I was telling everybody that my Ojibwe name is Megazins, or Little Eagle in English. And my family's from the Mink clan in the town of Redby. And you heard RJ just do the same thing. So that's part of what we do here at the college. We teach with our language and our values and our culture interfused into everything we do. And I think it's a good model, a good system. But I'm also one of the hereditary chiefs of the Red Lake Nation. And on behalf of our tribe and our college, I really appreciate the Attorney General for coming today. As some of you know, we met at the town hall just recently, and we invited him. And within like a day, his staff in his office said, "We want to come out there and talk to your students." So I think that's pretty impressive. You know, they responded like that and wanted to come out here. So that means a lot to us. But what we wanted to do today is we want to spend most of our time listening to the Attorney General and his ideas about what's going on in the state as the lead law enforcement person in our state. But first, we wanted to give just like about a 6 or 7 minute overview of what we're doing here at our campus, just to share that with everybody who's here. And then after that, we'll turn it over to the Attorney General. So here's our campus. As I mentioned, this is going to be one continuous building. We have a couple of bonding bills and another funding bill that are up with the legislature right now. So we'll share our story, our results. That's actually our our Red Lake Nation main campus up there in Red Lake. So we invite you to come up anytime you want to take a little break and get out of the cities. Come up and visit us. But we're basically a 2-year community college for natives. We serve a unique market niche that nobody else is serving, and that is natives in higher education. And like we always like to say, we're in the people business. So our main goal is to build people up. We build up their confidence, their academic skills. And so after 2 years, they say to themselves, you know what? I can go to the U of M, or I could go to Augsburg, or I could go to Dartmouth. And then they go out and do those things. And then maybe get a master's, PhD, become an attorney, and then come back and help our tribe. So that's our big picture vision of what we're doing here. And we serve people anywhere. We say we're a Red Lake Nation College without borders because we are online, so people can take courses from anywhere. We have students in Michigan, Florida, California, everywhere, and they want that cultural education with the language and culture infused. So that's why they come to us. And what makes us unique or special? So Nadine, you want to come up here for this part? Nadine tells this part really good. And this is kind of our secret sauce of what makes us unique and how we serve students.
So one of the things that I'm really proud of is having most of my career spent in the tribal college system. 38 tribal colleges across the country serve over 30,000 Native American students from Indian country, the heart of Indian country. One of the things we pride ourselves on is our ability to connect with community members, faculty, and the students, and even, you know, the faculty-student connection, the student engagement is so important at the tribal college level. We keep our classes small so that there is a natural connection between the faculty and the students, and they can tell you for themselves they have a great connection with their faculty and they have a great response from their faculty. So small personal one-on-one attention. We make sure that our students hear from us all the time. They're probably tired of our emails. Rachel sends out an email every Monday, our academic counselor, to connect with students, hear how they're doing, get information back. How are things going in life, school? Do you need any help? Family connections. We do consider ourselves a family college. It's not unnatural to see our family here in the college participating, like Freya right here. Whatever. She's on spring break and she gets to be a part of our activities. As far as a family college, we like to take this approach that as Native people, we really are all connected. We are interconnected. We have a family system that we value, and it is part of our whole learning experience here. Our Native perspective, the seven values are the basis of our curriculum, and we try to infuse culture, curriculum, and values in all of the things that we do, particularly in our curriculum. Mentorship, we do believe heavily in the fact that everybody gets to where they're at by having connections and somebody to back them up. There isn't a story of success in this world that doesn't have somebody who helped somebody else get to those places. And so mentorship is so important in higher education, and we value that and have a whole program that's based on that. And then our support system, our academic counseling. We have wraparound services such as our emergency funds. We have a food shelf downstairs that helps support students. We know that being a college student is not only expensive, but it takes a lot of resources, time, energy. So we want to make sure that food is not an issue, housing is not an issue, and having a car that gets you to where you need to be is not an issue. So those wraparound services, all of this is part of our secret sauce. We're really proud right now. In our time here at Minneapolis, our persistence rate is 84%, meaning that 84% of our students have persisted with that, and we're looking forward. And because of all this summer, we're able to offer our first round of summer classes to help increase that retention.
Big witch, Nadine. Yeah, what we call that is intrusive counseling. So we get in their business, basically. We don't let them quit once they come here. And this group we have here today is about our class average is about 10 people. So this would be about 2 of our classes. So that one-on-one attention is what really helps. So we have the highest level of accreditation, which is through the HLC. And our tribe did a 10-year, $15 million investment to get our campus going. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. So having that HLC accreditation means we're in the same arena as these excellent colleges in our region, like Notre Dame, U of M, all these major universities. We have to meet the same exact standards of accreditation as they do. And we also pride ourselves on our ease of transfer. We worked out our system so it matches up perfectly with the MINSCU state system. So our students don't have to go and battle after they're done 2 years here to transfer those. And we have articulation agreements with all the state schools in Minnesota. And then also now they're going to places like Augsburg, the U of M is common, Bemidji State up north. And we even had a student go to Dartmouth recently and graduate. So our students can compete anywhere. And with the U of M, now they have the free tuition for natives under $75,000. So that's a big feeder system for us is the U of M. Here's some of the benefits. Most of our students graduate with zero debt because we don't, yep, that's huge. We don't offer any loans. We don't offer any. We just say, let's find a way to find grants for everybody. And so that's pretty impressive. And then all our students get a tech backpack. So they get a laptop and the internet as part of their regular books and fees when they start. So we started that during COVID and it worked so well, we said, let's keep doing it. And like Nadine mentioned, there's our persistence and our retention rates, as you can see, equal to or better than the national averages. Now the state didn't have a 2-year comparable, but we estimate they're anywhere from 56 to the low 60s. So they might be a little higher than the national. And look at those state high school graduation rates. US, about 88%. Minnesota is right near the top. Look at Minnesota natives, 35 to 58%. And the 35% is Red Lake up north. That's our high school graduation rate. So we're usually, what I like to say is it's not an education gap, it's an education canyon for natives. And then in 2015, the Minnesota legislature set a goal. They wanted 70% of everyone in Minnesota by 2025 to have at least 1 year of post-secondary. And we did an update in 2020, and natives were the lowest by far. Any race would be 28%, any nationality. So our college really has the return on investment, and a major impact is very positive with Red Lake Nation College. And let's take a quick look at the funding allocations for 2021. The U of M got $684 million. That's 18% of their budget. The state system, $353 million. 76% of their budget came from the state. And look at the 3 tribal colleges in Minnesota, 0. Red Lake, Leech Lake, and White Earth were the only 3 public higher education schools to get 0 or get no funding at all. The only 3. So that's really, I think, an economic issue that we face with the tribal colleges. So what that means is we can have less staff and infrastructure than the mainstream, and most of our staff have to do a couple different jobs, and we can't pay as much as the 2-year state schools. So it was really hard before the pandemic, and now it's even more tough. And we serve the poorest people. Beltrami County up north is the poorest county in the state, and that's who we serve. And then in the Twin Cities, in between Lake and Franklin, the native corridor, those are the folks that we mainly serve in this region of Minneapolis. And so really our tribes and grants and the feds and donations support us, but without Minnesota support, we're missing a huge piece of that pie. And here's another look at it. Here's the U of M system in that 2021. They got 18%, 26% comes from tuition because they can charge, like my daughter goes there, and the Attorney General knows, he went to the U of M. We're paying the low 30s, $31,000 for her to go to college every year. And so it's huge, but they can charge those amounts, and then they can have alumni that provides other support. So that's 44%. Look at the state system, they get a lot of theirs, and they get 10% from tuition, 86%. Look at our total from state allocation and tuition, only 3 to 5%. So we're really, they call us unfunded miracles in how we survive with so little funding. And so it's really an economic problem, the lack of funding. So that's why we're trying to get this funding through the state, just so we can survive, basically. And so we are expanding to Minneapolis to serve. We have 8,000 members here, but there's over 50,000 natives in the Twin Cities, one of the largest urban populations of natives in the country. And we can't even say we're underserved. We got to say we're never served. So we've really never been served with higher ed funding. And then since we're online, people can attend from anywhere in the state, 120,000 natives statewide. So once we're open, we'll be one of the first tribal colleges in a major urban setting in the Twin Cities. And so as you can see, here's our location, right? And we picked it because it's right on the metro line, so people can access bus line right in front of the building. Perfect location. And there's the current where we're at. That's what it looks like now. Here's what it'll look like in a year. Less than a year, actually, about next February. So that's gonna be one continuous building with the third floor, and that second floor, those lights will be LED. We're in the entertainment district, so the second floor will be like backlit. So we can put, like native floral designs, art. It's gonna look really nice. So this is gonna be a 21st century building, high technology. It's gonna be rentable on the weekends and at, concert events, things like that. So that'll be a big extra revenue source for us. There's our campus. Once you're inside, you're gonna know you're in a native space. We're gonna have a green campus, so it's gonna be a lot of greenery, very efficient, all the latest HVAC systems. And like I said, it's gonna be set up for our small classes. And on a nice day, you go up there and study it on third floor. It's not gonna be incredible. We could have class up there. So anyway, there's the project. You can see we had it all bought and paid for, so 12.2 million, but then COVID happened. And so we got hit with inflation, material costs, so we got to raise another 3 million. So that's kind of why we're going to the state too for this. So that final 20%. We got skin in the game. We already put 80% in. We just need that extra 3. And we're going to bring construction jobs, 11 million in subcontractor payments, 20 new jobs here at the college. And so the local downtown Minneapolis neighborhood group is just loving us. They want us to come here. And we're brightening up the neighborhood. We're going to have safety, security, well lit. And I already mentioned that. So the state partnership, that's kind of what we're seeking. And everybody we tell this story to at the Capitol, RJ came with me to the state Capitol and helped. Everybody we tell the story to wants to help us. And we got bipartisan support too. So I think we're going to get this funding this year. And I've been working on some of these for 5 years, this funding. So it hasn't been easy, but I think people of color, we really have to emphasize and just keep at it, be persistent, to get what we need in the state, because it's very difficult. But anyway, that's kind of what we're doing, where we're at now. And with the surplus, if it don't happen this year, it's going to be hard to happen any year. I mean, this is because the total of our 2 bills is only $6 million. So that's kind of where we're at with our project. Now, with that, thank you guys. I have the honor of introducing our Minnesota Attorney General, and he's got a really impressive career. I mean, if you were to plan something out and say this would be a perfect career, this is kind of it right here. He's a U of M law school graduate from 1990. He was an attorney for 16 years. He did criminal defense and spent 5 years at the Legal Rights Center as executive director. And he was elected and served 4 years in the Minnesota House of Representatives. Right there would be a good career for a lot of people, right? That's something right there. But then after that, he went on, was elected and served in U.S. Congress as a representative for the 5th District, which is our area right here. These are his stomping grounds right here. Let's give him a round of applause for that. So he did that. That's 6 terms. So that's pretty impressive. He had to win 6 elections to serve that time in the U.S. Congress. And once again, that's like a whole career for a lot of people. But then after that, then he ran for and was elected Minnesota Attorney General twice, in 2018 and in 2022. So he's in his 5th year as a Minnesota Attorney General. And I want to say, personally, I'm a proud voter and supporter. Especially in that last, I just love seeing like somebody in this state, a person of color going and running for a high office like that and winning broad support from many people. That's not easy to do. So he was able to do that. And his guiding values, listen to this: generosity, equity, transparency, and inclusion. Sounds a lot like our 7 values, doesn't it? So it's very, very similar to what we do here. But I think the thing that made me most proud of him is in his leadership during the George Floyd case, when that happened. I think we all remember that was like not only in the Twin Cities, but statewide, nationwide, worldwide. That was a big event. And when that happened, I remember when that Hennepin County attorney mentioned that night of what was going to happen, or it was the next day, and everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen. This can't be the same as it always was. And it sounded like, hey, due process, let's take our time and not rush to judgment. It sounded like no sense of urgency. And then that's when the riots happened. But what happened after that is you saw leadership by the Attorney General stepped in and said, no, it's not going to be that way. This is going to be different. And then the guy was fired. And then I think he took over as lead prosecutor. And this, you got to remember, this never happened before, where officers would be convicted of something like this, right? That never happened. They always got off, or they got their hands slapped. For him to jump in and take charge and say, all right, this ain't gonna happen this way this time. So to me, that was really impressive. And so I think you got my vote, you got a lot of people's votes for life in that whole event. So I wanna say be good. So let's give him a round of applause for that. So with that, the character and leadership to be our top law enforcement person in the state, I want to introduce the Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, I just want to thank you for what a beautiful introduction. It's heartwarming right here. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be with you all right here. This is such a wonderful, hopeful, eventful moment to see these plans here, to see the actual reality that you're producing. And I want to tell you, it is exactly and precisely what we need. It is a scandal and a shame that more money has not been put into this institution. Personally, I believe that if they gave you $1 billion for 500 years, they still would owe you. Okay, really though. I mean, and I tell you, one thing to bear in mind is that a little more than 120, 30, 40 years ago, they would tell European settlers that they could give them land out here to settle or free. You know whose land it was. What we call, cities that we call different things, state boundaries, United States. People were here 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 years before doing amazing things. I was recently in Mexico, Teotihuacan. Anybody ever been there? It's outside of Mexico City. You should go. Because the truth is, there are different tribal groups, different ethnic groups, language groups, but everybody from the top of Canada to the bottom of Argentina and all throughout the Caribbean are indigenous, Native American people, Indian people, whatever you want to say. All are, everyone. And when you go to Teotihuacan, you see this pyramid. You're like, this pyramid is as amazing as any pyramid you ever saw in Egypt, made by your people. And that's not only that. It's not only in Central America. It's all over. It's all over the hemisphere. All over the hemisphere. There, I was looking at a thing in like Arkansas where there's this. We're in an airplane. You can look down and it's this massive snake-like figure that people made like before Europeans even got lost in Santo Domingo, which we ran into indigenous people. And Christopher Columbus wrote in his diary that these people were kind, helpful, and good to him, which is why he thought they would be good slaves. And he wrote that. So what I'm saying is that this building represents an amazing step forward. It represents a burst of life forward. And I tell you, of course, indigenous people need you, but everybody does, quite frankly. First, you got to worry about yourself, though. And we need to get you the money you need. You let me know what I can do. I will make any call, talk to anybody to say, get that money over there, get it over there now, because it needs to happen. It absolutely needs to happen. And where's our student council president? Going down there and talking to those folks, help them understand the situation. That's part of your education, isn't it? It's part of your education, learning how to manage and negotiate with these folks. Make a compelling case. That's all I do as a lawyer is make a case. It's just the fine art of persuasion, you know. And you can persuade somebody in a lot of ways. You can use fear to persuade people, or you can show them a vision of hope, or you can use logic and facts, or you can use emotion. Whatever it is, you're trying to get them to do what you need them to do, right? And that is part of why it's important to be down there. Because I'll tell you one thing about the state legislature. You know, the business folks come down there, they want something. The unions come down there, they want something. You know, you got the University of Minnesota, they're down there, they got plans and say, hey, give me some money. You better leave my offices down there to figure out how we can get some more money. And if you're not down there, guess what my grandma said? Closed mouth, don't get paid. Can we say it together? Closed mouth. You got to open up your mouth. You guys down there saying, hey, we got a great project. We need you to believe in our vision. Drop some money down. It's exactly what we need to do. And I tell you, this college, how amazing. We need more native doctors, medical professionals, and not just people who are doing surgery. We need public health professionals to fight these opioids and fight this other stuff that's threatening the livelihood and interfering with the success of the people, right? And we need some lawyers to go in the court and fight and defend and protect. We need some artists, gotta have more artists, because artists tell an essential truth that no politician could ever come close to. And if you don't believe me, how did it feel to see Opie and Chuck make that music that hit you in your heart? We don't need to quote a statistic. We feel it, we get it because we feel it. So we need them all. We need scientists. Where's our native scientists? Coming up with new cures for the body, for the land. As European, ideologies around like capitalism, exploitation, and dominion of the land. You know, people are now all colors, white, black, everybody is saying, is this the right way to go? I don't know. We kind of destroyed the earth with this philosophy. But what about some other kind of philosophy? What about some other kind of ways of viewing the world and viewing humanity's relationship with the earth that we've been blessed to be part of? The world, the mistakes of capitalism, and I'm not saying I'm for communism, I'm just saying the abuses of the system. People are now feeling the negative results of it and looking for other ways to have more balance. Maybe we can make a product and sell it and make money, but we can also not destroy the earth as we're doing it. Maybe we can talk about replacing, and maybe we can talk about reusing, and maybe we can talk about living in harmony and sustainability, which is something that indigenous people teach the entire universe. So this college is that nurturing place. Now look, I know the reality. You know, I've been to many communities around the state. Not every people nowadays, there's this stereotype that, oh well, everybody who's native gets 30 net per capita from gaming. Well, that is the biggest lie ever told. Most folks are struggling, as you know. A lot of students here probably come on campus, never been on campus, or for the first time are on campus, and nobody in their family ever went to college before. And so, you know, you come, as an individual, you come here like you might even have some doubts. Can I do this? Down here in the cities, spent my whole life in a more rural community, not down here. I'm gonna be okay. I'm dealing with people, anytime I tell them I'm native, I get that racism from some people. And now all of a sudden, I'm wondering, can I do it? You can absolutely do it. You're doing it. You are doing it. And this college is helping you do it. And so after you're a big deal, whatever you're gonna be in a few years, you gotta remember this place. Don't think about what right now you're thinking about, am I gonna pass that test? You are gonna pass the test if you study hard. But in 10, 12 years, you're gonna be gone from here. But you can never forget you. You gotta go back to your community, you gotta come back to this college, you gotta build it, build it, build it. And share what you know. Grab some young person who might be wondering, I think I can do it, but I'm not sure. You will be the one to say, I am sure you're gonna do it, you're gonna be great. And so that's what we need. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the Attorney General's office, we absolutely need you. We need some lawyers, we need some investigators, we need some translators. We need folks who've got a wide range of talents, not just attorneys. Alex not no lawyer, because she works at the AG's office. We got a lot of people who are there. We can do community outreach and engagement. These are all things that we need. And so I just want to tell you, while I've been the Attorney General, I'm going to be real clear with you. I have had a very intentional focus on fighting for Indigenous people. And I'm not Indigenous. So what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you one of the, people know the Floyd case, but I'm going to tell you one of my favorite moments at AG's. When for years and years and years, they were saying, well, in Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe in Mille Lacs County, and Mille Lacs County's position was that, well, we stole this land from you fair and square, so it's now ours. And I'm the Attorney General, like, well, what's your opinion? I said, well, I told my staff to write a memo on what they believe the law is and should be. It's like this, only Congress can disestablish a tribal community. Only Congress can. A state cannot, a county cannot, a city cannot. And Congress has not deliberately changed the boundaries since 1857, so they are as they were. And we told the county, you're on Indigenous land right now. They didn't appreciate it. But I'm so glad that the people put signs up and say, well, let's ban the Ojibwe. And these folks, they got this. We demand that you show up at our community meeting. I showed up. I said, here's what the law said, here's what the Supreme Court said. Welcome to the Lax Band of Ojibwe, which you live with. And you gotta be nice to them because they might want to attack you, And so my point is that shifting Minnesota policy to affirm Native sovereignty is something I'm extremely proud of. I tell you, when the people of Line 3, I didn't have nothing to do with the permit. That's out of my lane. But after they got the permit, they started poking holes in the aquifer. They prosecuted them criminally for it. And there were indigenous leaders who said, here's where they screwed it up, here's where they screwed it up, here's pictures, here's pictures, here's pictures. And we didn't just say, yeah, that's nice. We prosecuted Enbridge for corporate crimes. And made them invest money, made them fix what they did, invest money to fix some other stuff. But they didn't even break, but that's community service. Just like picking up garbage on roadsides. So we'll always do that, and I just want you all to let me know. If there's something we could do, I need you to call me and say, hey, Keith, this is a problem, what can we do together? Like on this one, you need me to write letters, call somebody, we'll do it, because this is a very important step. And you gotta wonder, why is Ellison, who's Black, care so much about this issue? Because I care about humanity. I'll just tell you this. You cannot discuss the indigenous story, the Black story separately. It's impossible to do. They displaced the indigenous people from their land and then dragged us from Africa to work it for free for 400 years. And so there's really two sides of the same coin. I know that. I'm not confused about that. So I'm just here to tell you that whatever I can do, I'm here to do. And I just really hope that you all will have great success. Study, invest in yourself. I'm so chatting. If you're like, oh, I don't know if I go this semester. Yes, you can. We're gonna figure it out. Because it's so important that you put forth that effort. Even though it is harder for you. It's harder for you than it is for your average student going to U of M. No doubt, even if you come from the same economic circumstances, you show up in the world and there's a set of assumptions, they show up in the world and there's not. right? And so, but I'm telling you, don't ever let anybody tell you that because our country started out a certain way, it's going to end up a certain way. We're literally changing it as we go. We're literally changing it as we go. Somebody said to me about a month ago, this young college student said, well, this place wasn't even meant for us, Keith. I'm like, so what? It wasn't meant for us. We made it for us, and we're going to make it work for us. We live here. We got nowhere else to go. I showed up and I cried out. They said, hello, stranger. You understand what I mean? And on this soil, and we got to make it as strong and as good as we can. We got to make it inclusive of everybody. And if we do, it will be better off. I envision an America where everybody is included, nobody is rejected, talents of all are embraced. And I'm telling you, the answer to cancer is locked up in the mind of some little Indian girl who all she needs is somebody to invest in her and care and see that she has a scientific mind. That girl has a scientific mind. She thinks like a scientist. She's brilliant. It's just like gold under the ground. You just gotta dig it out, and then when you bring it out and polish it up, it's so shiny and beautiful, right? Well, it takes a little effort to get it there. And that's what this place is all about. So enough talking for me. Y'all have any questions? I'm a lawyer and a politician. Yes. I think it was a very important law. I think it was good law. It was under challenge in the Supreme Court, I think. I mean, which is ridiculous. First of all, their legal position is just wrong. Because, as you know, and I don't have to tell you, Native people come in all colors. You know, my friend J.D. Edwards is a tribally enrolled Native American. He's actually also Black. He's as dark as I am. And then I know people who, they're Native, they're tribally enrolled. You wouldn't know if they look European. And there's all of it. And they're all the people, right? Embraced, welcome, all that. But the U.S. government relationship with Indian people is kind of different from other people of color. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's a sovereign to sovereign relationship. They dragged us here, and our citizenship is U.S. because, and we were lucky to get it when slavery ended. Quite honestly, we're getting real about it, you know. But when the conflicts happened with indigenous people, treaties were signed and promises were made, which are legally enforceable. And so that's different. They're not doing, you know, indigenous children are not, the tribal communities are not entitled to raise their own children because of their color. It's because of their legal status. Follow what I'm trying to say? And so with this idea that, oh, this is a different racial preference, it's not really a racial preference. Now, most Native people, you know, are darker than a white person, lighter than a Black person. But, you know, but the real difference from a legal standpoint is treaty obligation. And so that should be the relationship. See what I'm saying? Now, so I think it's a bad decision, and I think it's just another decision by somebody who's trying to take something away. No different from, oh, you got uranium under that mountain? It's mine now. Oh, you got this under there? I want it. And have we not seen that before? So we got to fight, and we got to use the courts and use logic, and that's why you need to go to law school. What do you think? You can go to law school. I can go to law school, you can go to law school. Trust me. I graduated from college, magna cum laude, you know. But you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And if you want to talk about how you're going to do it, we can talk one-on-one about that. But I just think you need to, look, the law school is walking distance from here. Why don't you just walk over there and walk through the building? Look around. Imagine yourself being a student there, and you will be. I promise you that. Any other question? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Susan Means. I'm a member of the Red Lake Nation and a friend. student attending Red Lake Nation College, Minneapolis campus. I have been inspired to pursue a major in criminal justice and become a tribal attorney. I've taken a criminal justice and society course. In our class, we studied the sentencing guidelines for prison sentences. My class discussed how many of them are long, especially for people of color. What are you doing to ensure fair sentencing? And what do you plan to do to help inmates gain clemency?
Well, this is a great question. And so one of the things that I do is I sit on the pardon board, and I want you guys, maybe you could write a paper about the pardon board. Since you're a student, you could write a paper about the pardon board, and what we, not enough people know about the pardon board. And we can get, the pardon board says that crime that they say you committed, it's over. Like, that's different from what they call expungement. And my office has a free statewide expungement program. Now, but what an expungement does, it just says, when the landlord and the job show up, they can't see the record. But it's still there. The pardon says it's not there. It's erased. One seals your record, the other one erases your record. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. What if as a school project we did a expungement fair right here at the college? Oh yeah. So Alex knows what I'm talking about. So what else are we doing? I tell you right now, we set up a conviction integrity unit, so we don't want anybody innocent and innocent person. So we've actually let out a couple of people who we found that there was no evidence that they committed that crime at all. If you feel that there are some Native people in prison who are actually innocent, we want to see their case. We want to get them out. We don't want them there. And the other thing is that, you know, here's the reality. Native people are both over incarcerated, but also under protected. Yeah. So in some communities where the population is mostly indigenous, or some tribal communities, there's a certain amount of mayhem that the larger authorities allow to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? So some folks are dealing dope, shooting each other, and nobody seems to care. They just let it happen. That's also not good, right? So we need good law enforcement. I said this the other day, and somebody discussed me out, but I said we should need more Native police officers. Because somebody's going to be one. Somebody will be on the police. If it's you, you will arrest the guilty and release the innocent, and for the knuckleheads who just made a stupid mistake, they find a way to give them a break. The criminal justice system is made up of, and I'm saying this based on a lot of time working in it, people who didn't do it and are caught up in it. People who are on the other end of the spectrum, people who are truly evil and will hurt you if they can. And then there's people, most of them are in the middle, they're addicted, they got problems, they're desperate, they need something really dumb, and they need a break, and they need some mercy, and they also need a way to build their life back. So that's it.
So where do you stand with, say for instance, indigenous
Absolutely.
victims who are incarcerated, where they committed a crime but traumatic factors like forced them into survival mode? Where do you stand on supporting victims?
Well, I absolutely believe in supporting victims. I tell you, I was talking to somebody today. What's your name? Season means? Season. So season, I was talking to somebody today, that's why it's fresh in my memory. And I asked her how she felt about victims. Because I have to I have to hire people who are prosecutors. Everybody's clear on what a prosecutor is? A prosecutor is a lawyer who makes the case that this person is guilty, right? And that's what the prosecutors are. So I was talking to this prosecutor who we have to hire, because as you know, I am a prosecutor myself, but a defense attorney as well. And I said to this prosecutor who wants to work for us, how do you feel about victims? And she said to me, she said, look, I was born in Karachi, Pakistan. And I came here at the age of 12. But when I was 7, some men broke in our house with automatic weapons and held my father under gunpoint. Now this woman's about 35 years old. She has kids of her own. She remembers this dramatic incident when she was 7 years old. When you are the victim of a crime, you don't forget about it right away. Even if you don't have a scar, you got one in your heart. You got one inside. I believe victims have to have much, much better services than they do now. And I'm gonna tell you that there was a guy named Mr. Balsimo, I don't know if you've heard of him or not, and he came from an indigenous family, and these criminals, dismembered his body, put it in concrete, threw it in the Mississippi, Lake Superior. Y'all hear this case? Well, the family, you know what I mean? So, but the family was like, we care. And they got some of the people involved to admit what they did on the phone, took the tape, brought it to the, and then eventually they brought it to our office, which we prosecuted, and we convicted them up in Cook County, Minnesota, just a few weeks ago. Because his life mattered, his life counted. And someone said, well, he was less. You can get past that. You can overcome an addiction, but you can't overcome death. That is punishment. And so the thing is, I care deeply about victims. That's why I do the work that I do. And I tell everybody, if you don't care about victims, you can't work for my office. This is a victim-centered office. We also understand that sometimes victims are like, you know what, they did this horrible thing to me, and as long as they said they're sorry, I forgive them. And sometimes victims say, I want them to get the death penalty, I want to hang them from the highest tree. Victims feel all kinds of ways. They get to feel how they feel. As a prosecutor, you don't have to obey a victim, but you absolutely have to listen to a victim. And as many indigenous women murdered and missing in this country, it is a scandal. It is a scandal. And I'll tell you one other thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going too far. But let me just say, the city of Minneapolis had 1,700 untested rape kits. Now they chopped it down. But how does it ever get that bad? Talk about believe women. That's saying we don't believe. That's saying, whatever. Or even if they did it, who cares? That is not the kind of way that we bring about a safe society. Now again, I did criminal defense for 16 years. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in mercy. I believe in second chances. But first, you saw the other day, we just said that if you are out of prison, you can vote. Y'all see that? The first person to carry that bill was me. I'm proud. Tears when we signed it about a few weeks ago. But what I'm saying to you is, you gotta care about victims. You gotta respect the rights of the defendants. You cannot incarcerate your way out of the crime issues we have. But some people, I'm sorry, they're not right to be around the rest of us because they're predatory. And yet, most people in that institution are there longer than they need to be on a nonviolent drug offense. Why are we putting people in prison for stuff like that? That doesn't make no sense to me. All these people got convictions for marijuana. Like, why? Now look, I do think that marijuana is not a good thing, certainly for a teenager. Anybody tells me, well, I believe it should be legalized, but I also believe we should, just because it's legal don't mean you should do it, right? You know, and I tell people, it's gonna make you feel comfortable doing nothing. It's gonna make you feel comfortable, oh man, you don't wanna be like that. But I don't think they should throw you in jail, right? It gives you up, help you break yourself of it, you know? And if you wanna do it recreationally, then you should do it on the weekend if you can, but not when you have to function and produce and take care of your kids and lead a productive life. Yeah. So I hope I didn't over-answer your question. Okay, but good luck.
It was an honor speaking with you and to have your time. I'm very, very confident.
Well, you know what?
And I humbly ask your support in helping my loved one.
Well, I need you to let me know their name.
Yeah. If I could have a moment of your time afterwards, I'd love to speak with you.
Sounds good. But you know what? Could you write down the information for Carrie Sperling?
Yes.
Carrie runs our conviction integrity. And this is the one that takes convictions of people who have claims of innocence and looks at those, right? So we're happy to do it, but let's just make sure she gets Carrie's information, and we'll be happy to talk. And good luck with your legal career, and don't quit, and don't keep fighting till you get there. All right? Anybody else? You don't have to have a question. You can talk. Yes.
It was stolen right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what you're doing to protect that and find stolen cars.
Well, there are two different sets of people, right? There's Hyundai executives, Hyundai, Kia, and then there's the people who are stealing cars. When it comes to people who are stealing cars, that is a very serious problem. I'm supporting the police who investigate those cases. Those are like cases. I'll tell you why. But I'm dealing with who I can't deal with, and that's Kia Hyundai. I'm suing. And I've written the letters and said you should recall all these Kia Hyundai and put in a engine immobilizer, which is a piece of technology which makes it much harder for the car to steal. Here's a fact. I bet you didn't know this. I didn't know it until about a week ago. About 98% of the cars you see driving out there that are not Kia Hyundai have an engine immobilizer. They're hard to steal. Some clever people can do it, but it's not. You got to go an extra mile. But if you have a Kia Hyundai, only about 26% of them do. So 3 out of 4 of them are easy to steal. You can watch TikTok and figure out that all you need is a UPS or to steal one. So this is wrong. So this is a matter of corporate accountability. Now we can't only, let me just tell you this, those kids who steal those cars, because most of them are kids, they shouldn't do that, and they should be held accountable for doing that. They shouldn't get life in prison, man. But they should be, somebody needs to say, look, kid, you need to knock it off, okay? But on the other hand, those executives who decided, you know what, the engine immobilizer, it's an extra $1,000. We can save $1,000 per car if we don't put it in there. That's us getting paid. Well, at the same time, there have been 265 accidents because of these cars. There have been 13 people shot, 5 people dead. There's an 11-year-old kid who died in a Kia accident the other day. One of them went off of a bridge the other day. This is a public nuisance in the government, and we're suing for that. And so that's what we do. And you look too young for college. Oh, good. Sharp question. Yeah. So a few blocks away, in the middle of the evidence against Drew.
I was hoping you could speak to why you felt the need to go to trial with accepting settlement. Just talk about that.
I'd love to, but can I tell folks something a little bit different? Now look, I know that for the indigenous people, tobacco is a sacred thing, right? We respect that, absolutely. But this stuff that they sell in these cigarettes, that ain't nothing sacred about that. That's just a cancer. Y'all agree with me on that? And they push this stuff on indigenous people even more. The liquor, the cigarettes, it's all that's figured out by somebody trying to make money. Now, you should know that tobacco companies, people got hit to the game, figured out that what they're pushing is literally dope. They're pushing dope. You're like, what's dope? Oh, nicotine. That dope. They're pushing nicotine. It is a drug found in that leaf, and They figured out how to squeeze it to the point where they could just leave the combustible cigarette, but just get the nicotine and then sell you that. That is vaping. Make no mistake about it, vaping is tobacco use. Vaping is tobacco use. Not sacred tobacco use, but commercial tobacco use designed to hook you to that old like 7,000 dangerous chemicals. And vaping, here's the thing about vaping. Now, I know some of y'all probably get it. A lot of people they do stuff, right? These old people who started young still vape. Don't let anybody tell you the same. I'm not here to lay a guilt trip on you for vaping. I just want you to know the truth about it. Okay? What I'm saying is, when you inhale, so when you smoke a cigarette, I don't really smoke, so I don't know. For those of you who smoke, is it sort of, when you first started, was it like kind of like, maybe you cough a little bit? Right, so when you start smoking it, that harshness is not associated with that vape. So you can take deep drawdown inhalation to your lungs, and then that deep in your lungs, it gets to your brain faster. So you get more nicotine to your brain, which means you get a faster, stronger hit, which means what? Fill the blank. Precisely. And so that's what we're seeing. They lied about it, they told all kinds of stories about it, and they aimed it at kids. Now, everybody here is probably except you and Chuck, right? Because that's his name, right? And so the thing is, if you're an adult and you say, yeah, this is not great for me, but it's better than the combustible cigarette. Okay, fine, you're grown, you can make that decision. But they're over here giving kids flavors, you know, like mango or cotton candy or whatever. They're pushing these flavors and they're deceiving people and they're getting you hooked. And then by the time you're 18, 19, 20, you can't get off of it unless you get an action go to class or something, right? Because they didn't you. So why didn't we accept? Getting right to your question. Because they were trying to give us, get out of here, child. Come on. Get out of here, child. You know what that is? That's the kind of money you say no to. Because if they tell me, oh, we're going to give you $1 million, that's no money compared to what we have to spend to get people off this drug that they're addicted to. We think this case is worth over $100 million. And if you get arrested in Washington court stuff, there's going to be we're going to put our witness on probably Thursday, who's going to talk about all the damages. What is it this witness going to do? Count up the bill. 60 million for this, 80 million for that. You know what I mean? We're going to count up the bill. And that witness is because in a lawsuit, with the two lawyers over here, any other lawyers that mixed together? Well, so for you two guys who are going to law school, you've already decided this. There's two kinds of cases. There's criminal cases where the penalty is fines, money, or deprivation of liberty. And then there's something called civil cases, which are about compensating the victim. And sometimes injunctive, you must do this, you can't do that. So we're trying to get compensated. Compensated for what? For all the health problems we're going to have to pay for because of these people. Right? So they want to internalize the profits and externalize the cost onto everybody else. And we're saying, about that. So look, if they had made a reasonable offer, we would take it. But they haven't made it. So we told them, we're going to, this much of this college on television, we're going to tell the truth about you, shade the devil, turn the light, put the light on. And we've been doing that. And if they come up with an offer, we'll take it. The interesting thing though, 25 years ago, Skip Humphrey, the prior AG, sued, Philip Morris and all these other big tobacco conglomerates. And they ended up paying billions. We're not at billions. They ended up paying billions. But I'll tell you, that they settled that case after all the evidence was there. They said, you sure you want to give this case to the jury? And they said no. And they settled after all that. So we think it's good to try cases. I tell myself, here's what it's, so like one thing you might want to know is that there used to be a lot more trials. Now everybody thinks it's too dangerous to go trial because you win or lose, might as well cut the baby in half. Minimize your risk. Settlements, right? Well, sometimes you should try the case, right? Why? Because the trial is public. You let everybody see it. Everybody gets a sense of, okay, you see what I'm saying? So I mean, that's why we think it would be good to try. We would accept the right number, but they haven't come close to it. They're still trying to get us to walk away with some child money, which won't help us solve the problem. So that's why. They have financial problems. They, but we told them to take a structure, so they're, so, all right, and look, this is not like, well, I came here once and that's it. I'll come back, y'all want me to. I enjoy being here. I'm so proud of the hard work that you put in every day, and the brilliance, all the talent you guys have, the gifts that you are giving and will give. I want to be part of that. So anytime you want me to come back, just come. Thanks a lot.